leaders are much given to talking about accountability. Usually, they are referring to how their subordinates need to take more responsibility for ensuring that they perform the roles and tasks they are supposed to. But a renowned leadership expert suggests that the real problem may lie with the leaders themselves. In his latest book, Accountable Leaders, Dr. Vince Molinaro pulls few punches. He says that organizations are filled with part-time leaders. This is not to say that these executives are only working part-time. It is just that they are not spending enough of their time leading. Instead, they are carrying on doing the things that got them into management in the first place, typically excelling technically. Companies tend to assume that such performance translates into success as a leader. But the evidence suggests that it does not. As a result, writes Molinaro, many companies have significant leadership accountability gaps. They have people in leadership roles who simply are not stepping up or leading in a way that their company expects. Another issue is mediocre leaders. Molinaro's own research for an earlier book, The Leadership Contract Field Guide, shows that organizations believe that about 55% of their leaders are mediocre. Moreover, 80% of organizations do not know what to do about it. Molinaro's own solution starts with an analysis of what mediocre means. He has found a surprising degree of consensus about what makes a mediocre leader. The top 5 characteristics are, his research also confirms a long-held fear of his, that mediocre leaders are everywhere, and having a detrimental effect on those they lead. It is not just those directly affected by, say, the bullying of the uncivil and mean or being forced to take the blame for errors who suffer. When an organization keeps mediocre leaders around and does nothing to help them, it signals to everyone that the company will tolerate mediocrity, which is a dangerous thing. Instead, they should be developing accountable leaders. In another book, The Leadership Contract, Molinaro presented a set of 5 behaviors demonstrated by accountable leaders that he believes helps set their companies apart from others. These are, as Molinaro makes clear in his introduction, the world abounds with examples of bad leadership. There are, he writes, far too many stories of prominent leaders embroiled in scandal, corruption, sexual harassment, demonstrating unacceptable and even unethical behavior. In fact, they have become so commonplace that we barely notice them anymore and have been conditioned to accept them as the norm. But Molinaro insists this is wrong. He says we need to hold all leaders to a higher standard. And we should also apply that higher standard to ourselves. Accountability is certainly a good place to start. And calling out mediocrity, especially where it is accompanied by not-so-mediocre rewards, is long overdue.